Hip Hop Wired, this is a special one. It's the month of Ramadan, and we had to do a very, very special episode. This one's very important. I'm speaking to a Muslim brother that has been navigating the hip hop industry, has been making great music, has been doing a lot of great things, and we want to talk about something special, something about being Muslim in hip hop, and the struggles that may have came with it, and things in that nature. So with that being said, I got Goldmouf on the StreamYard right now. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Yeah, man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have me, and I can't wait to talk about this interesting topic because it's really a serious thing, man. Um, I never forget when I first got into music. The brother Beanie Siegel from Philadelphia, you know what I'm saying, legendary Beans. He came to me and he was like, "Man, being a Muslim in this hip hop industry, in this music entertainment industry, it's a real struggle because when these corporate people see that you are Muslim, they're gonna give you all types of offers and all types of try to endorse you in different ways that's against Islam, but don't fall for the bait." And he was telling me how a lot of times, um, the corporate, conglomerations or whatever, step to him and ask him to play some type of gay role or endorse alcohol, because in Islam, liquor is like prohibited. It's completely haram, and they'll come to him with this ridiculous amount of money, and he'll just refuse it. Or I think the brother Kevin Gates at one point was saying how they was trying to get him to do some type of advertisement and endorsement on Christmas, and how the Muslims view the Christmas holiday, um, and it's like every time is always some type of temptation, some type of form of trying to persuade you to go against what you believe. And we have to be mindful of that. And we, can't allow the dunya, you know what I'm saying, or this type of culture to just completely subvert our Islamic belief. We got to stand firm regardless of how much money or how much publicity or opportunity is at stake. That's really important, is to stand your ground, because if you're willing to go against your own religion, you going against yourself. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us this hold firm to the rope of Allah, and don't allow this dunya to control us, or manipulate us, or take the religion away from us. So that's something we gotta always be mindful of.
Alhamdulillah, man. MashaAllah. Goldmouf, let me ask you this: how have you been able to balance being a Muslim in hip hop?
As you know, in Islam, a lot of people don't know, but music is haram. Like making music, especially the type of secular music that we do, is completely haram. So what I learn is I don't mix the Islam with the music. I see a lot of brothers out here, they try to mix the Islam with the music. I don't do that because, for one, we don't supposed to be doing music. And when we find ourselves doing the haram already, it's completely prohibited. For those who don't know, haram means prohibited.
Yeah.
So when we find ourselves doing something that's already sinful, I'm not about to try to mix the two, the righteousness with the non-righteousness, with the haram with the halal. Halal means permissible. So the Islam is our way of life. There's no need for me to try to mix the music. How what I look like mixing violence with Islam, talking about shooting and killing, then I'm talking about Allahu Akbar in the same song in the same sentence, and we don't supposed to be doing the music anyway. So that that's frowned upon from the global Islamic community. That's a very serious thing, because we don't only I'm not just a isolated Muslim. I represent Islam on a global scale. So I am a reflection of my brothers and sisters around the world. I am a reflection of my religion. So, like I say, I'm already doing music, but I definitely don't want to misrepresent Islam by trying to incorporate Islam within the music in that sense. Then arguably you got some brothers that'll say, well, at least, I'm doing a haram, but I'm still in the remembrance of Allah by even mentioning him in the music. And that can possibly get people to convert or persuade them to become interested in Islam.
Yeah.
Well, my argument to that would be is that Allah tells us not to do the music. And I'm not finna mention Allah's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala name after a curse word. After talking about selling drugs, a killing, if that be the case. You see what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do away with that altogether. And inshallah, as I cultivate my religion and become more and more pious, then at some point I'll completely do away with the music.
Yeah.
But I'm not mixing the two because I don't want to misrepresent or send a wrong message to people who really are true Muslims, that are people who are just interested in Islam. I don't want these people to feel like this is how we live and this is our way of life, that it's okay to be this way, because in our actuality, the Quran is the only music that we need. When we recite the surahs and the tajreed, when we listening to the beautiful melodies of the surah, that's really all we need in our lives. And that's how it was with the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet, peace be upon him, and the Sahabas. These brothers, they recited the surahs, and this was their form of music. But of course, we living in this American culture, so we have to find a balance there.
Yeah.
And the balance is, to me, is just basically, you know, doing away with the music and Islam together, right? And also standing firm on my belief system to the public, and just not being a bad person. Because like
Yeah.
I said, I see Muslims out here. They represent the Islam, and they represent the music. And I'm not gonna call no particular names out, but I got a bunch of phone calls related to some Muslim brothers out here that do the hip hop, that do the music, how they was trying to integrate the Islam. And
Mm.
I got calls from imams from different places, and they're like, "What's going on down there in Atlanta? Like, why is this happening?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't like to get those calls because I know that we know what's right and what's wrong.
Of course, of
You see
course.
what
And
I'm
the
saying?
thing is, you play a vital point of being one of those people that people will call in Atlanta when they may see something from other Muslim brothers in hip hop that might be questionable. Let me ask
Yeah.
you this, about what struggles have came with being Muslim in hip hop?
I mean, I don't drink alcohol,
Mm.
and in the hip hop community, the nightlife community, alcohol, reposado, all these different types of drinks, they stay flowing in these atmospheres.
Yeah.
So, that's not, it hasn't been a struggle to me. But when I tell people I don't drink, I don't smoke marijuana, I don't smoke, I don't use drugs, they be like, "Dang, how you do that?" Well, a part of how I do that is because of my Islamic belief. I was born and raised a Muslim. So I never drank. I never indulged into drugs and things of that nature. But and it's just really the lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? Just being a part of this entertainment lifestyle. It's completely opposed to Islam.
Oh
It
yeah,
ain't it
it's
ain't
the
nothing.
opposite. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the total opposite. It's like day and night. So
Yeah.
it's nothing in this entertainment industry that is corrective or in favor of Islam. I mean, the women, the drugs, the guns, the vulgar, the profane language. I mean, just the whole idea. Nothing coincides with the Islam. So and another thing that can be a struggle to a brother that's in the industry, and that's been not necessarily a struggle to me because I'm disciplined, but the month of Ramadan, fasting
Wait,
during the
I
month
was
of
just
Ramadan.
I was just about to ask you about that too. How has that been for you, being fasting during the month of Ramadan, and during that holy month, we have to stay away from sinning. Of course, whether it's Ramadan or not, you should stay
Nah,
away from sinning. But
yeah,
that
but
is a very, very
we
special
put
time.
emphasis on it
We
during the
put
month of
emphasis on
Ramadan.
it during the month of Ramadan. We're dropping this interview during Ramadan. What would you say for out there to people? What has been like? Has it been difficult for you during Ramadan? being Muslim and hip hop?
I would say that it's always a difficult journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like it said in the Quran, like where there's difficult comes ease, and you know, I feel that you aren't doing anything challenging to your spirit, to your soul, if it's not difficulty involved in that process. There has to be difficulty. I don't care. Like even just being successful in anything, if there's no difficulty or challenge, then I don't think this. I think the success will be superficial.
Yeah.
There's no real genuine success without difficulty and challenges, and that applies to anything in life. If you're gonna be a successful Muslim, if you're gonna be a successful entrepreneur, a successful gardener, whatever you can think of, there is gonna be challenges and difficulties involved in that process. And so my thing is that there is most certainly difficulty during the month of Ramadan, even not just in the music industry, but just living in America.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Everybody is eating when they want to eat. Everybody is, hanging out and drinking all day. Beverages, whatever the case is. Like it's a free for all. You do what you want to do in America. So it's really not religious bound. So, but being a Muslim, having to wake up during the Fajr prayer, you know, conduct 5 prayers throughout the day, no matter where you at, what you doing, unless you're traveling, and that's by option, because you can still travel and find the nearest masjid and make your salat. Nevertheless, the requirement of having to make those 5 salats, because without those salats, of course, it removes you from the state of Islam. If you continuously fail to conduct your salats, the prayer, so that's very important. So just having to wake up, you might be in the studio all night, and here come Fajr time. Now it's time to make the salat.
Yeah.
So basically during the month of Ramadan, what I tend to do, I kind of refrain from everything, from doing any type of shows, any type of music, any type of anything that pull me out of that fold of the Islam, because I want to stay focused on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to learn new surahs. I want to learn, I want to do the dhikr. I want to, just completely absorb myself in Quranic activities and Islamic activities during that particular holy month, because we have basically, 11 other months to do as the Americans do.
Right.
So I feel like during the month of Ramadan, it's very important that we take that time out to refrain from all of the things that Allah has prescribed us to refrain from. And that's very important to the Deen of Islam.
Let me ask you this, Goldmouf. This will be my last question, but this one, in my opinion, is probably the most important one. Alhamdulillah, you're at a point in your career now that you're able to, during the month of Ramadan, fall back from doing shows and stay away from temptation. For young Muslim rappers that are just getting into the game, what advice would you give to a young Muslim rapper, not just in the month of Ramadan, but just in general, how to navigate the dunya, this world, being Muslim in music?
I think my advice to the young would be put the deen first. Like, seriously, don't put the money first. Don't put the women first, the materialism, the opportunity. Put the deen of Islam first. And once you put Allah first, everything else will fall in place, because Allah ain't gonna let you miss no opportunities that would gain you access to the Al-Jannah, to heaven. Now you might miss some money opportunities, but that's a part of the dunya.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But if you're serious about your religion, you got to put Allah first and ask Allah for guidance in every decision that you make, because people in this dunya and the shaitan is going to always try to influence you to chase the bag and to do the haram to get the bag, do things that's prohibited to make the money and just forget about the Islam. That's why we have 5 prayers a day. so we can always stay in the remembrance of Allah. So even while we on this dunya journey, this journey in this dunya, we always remember what our responsibilities are as a Muslim.
Yeah.
And that's important. So I would encourage any artist to firstly remember Allah, put Allah first, and make your 5 salats. Because it's hard for you to completely go astray, and you know doggone well your prayer is coming up in the next 2 hours.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They can't pull you too far from Allah if you know doggone well you gotta make that prayer in the next hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah. No,
You see what I'm saying?
no, that's great advice. Goldmouf, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for taking the time. I know this is a very, very important topic. And I definitely want us to continue to use our platforms to spread the word of Islam and let young Muslim rappers and young Muslims in the music game know how to navigate this correctly. So again, man, thank you so much for your time.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, Rabbi Alameen, Bismillah, Rahman Rahim, Alhamdulillah, Rabbi Alameen, Ar-Rahman Rahim, Maliki Yawmuddin, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in, Din siratal mustaqim, siratal ladina an'amta alayhim, Ghayra maghdubi alayhim wala dallin. Assalamu alaikum.
So that